Welcome to tonight's 5 on 5. The guest is Andrea Howell, Executive Director of Casa Klamath Falls. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. I'm glad to
Tell us a little about the Casa community and how it helps in Klamath Falls.
Well, CASA is an acronym. It stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. And so our volunteers are trained and then they are appointed by our judges to advocate for children and youth in foster care. And so the way that our volunteers are able to help is they get to know the children and the youth that they advocate for. We see them at least monthly in their foster home. We see them in the community. And we have access to the entire file, the confidential file. So we'll talk to teachers and we'll talk to perhaps pediatricians, anyone who's important in the life of the child. And after we gather all that information, we then write reports to the court and we make recommendations to the judges about what's in the best interest of that child. And
what does it include when you're talking about the best interest of what help they need, where they need to go, those sorts of things?
Sure, it can relate to their placement. How are they doing where they're at in that foster home? Is that a good fit for them? That's a good question to ask. Perhaps they have siblings. Are they seeing those siblings, and are they seeing them enough? Do they have unmet medical needs and dental needs, or are they in need of additional services? And so our CASA volunteers are able to make recommendations.
And you need support of the community, correct,
Yes.
to keep this going? Tell how people at home can help out.
Well, there's a few ways to help out. One way is, as a nonprofit, we are always in need of additional funds. For every $600 that we receive, we're able to provide full advocacy for another child for a full year. And we currently have 104 children who are waiting for a CASA volunteer. So that money helps, and also if someone is thinking of becoming a CASA volunteer, now's the time. It's a great time to apply, and it doesn't take any special skills, just somebody who is willing and interested in the welfare of children.
Is there a training process that they will go through if they decide to volunteer, background, those sorts of things, checks of those?
Sure.
Nature?
So the first step is volunteers apply, and then we send them through a background check, make sure there's no history of child welfare, there's no criminal background that would preclude them, and then we sit down and do an interview with them and make sure that they're suited to working with children. And at that point, we place them into our certification training, and it's a 30-hour training, and they go through that, and then they're appointed by the judges once they're sworn in.
All right, a few more questions for you, so stick around. More 5 on 5 right after the break. Welcome back to the 5 on 5. The guest is Andrea Howell, Executive Director of Casa Klamath Falls. We've been talking about volunteering at Casa. Again, give us the acronym and then go in a little bit more of how much time it's going to take for a volunteer.
So CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. And volunteers, we typically tell them it's going to, the commitment is somewhere between 6 to 10 hours a month. When a case initially opens, it's going to be a little bit more, and over time, cases take a little less time.
So other jobs that they have, do they usually understand? Do they get that worked out with how many hours they're going to need at the beginning? Will they know, I should say, structure-wise to tell their employers?
Yeah, they will. It does require some flexibility in the schedule, but typically we know that they're going to need to be available to go to court probably every 4 to 6 weeks for probably about an hour, and they're going to need to be able to see the child in the foster home, and that can happen during weekends and in the evening.
Do you need more men, more women specific, or is it gender specific for each child, or how does that work?
Well, we want both. But men, we always want more men volunteers. There's some boys who are in the system and some teen boys in particular that could use a male volunteer working with them directly.
And we're talking about volunteering. How would someone just starting out there hearing this, how would they get a little bit more information? How would they get started?
Well, they can go to our website, and we're at klamathfallscasa.org. They can call our office or walk in, and once they contact us, they begin by filling out an application, and then we take them through the process.
And once again, you said they can volunteer to help, but do you also need funds? Is there anything else that they can do to help out if they don't have the time?
We have some volunteers who help at special events, who may come in and help filing in the office. So there's so many different kinds of opportunities. We need people who are photographers. We have many needs, and we know the community has the resources, and we really appreciate what we get from our volunteers.
All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's it for the 5 on 5 Morning News right after the break.